We moved here in 2013, and we've been coming here ever since. What drew me to the church was the choir and the organ. And my background was Methodist. I grew up in a Methodist church. So that's kind of how we got here. There was an ashram, a retreat, that was held at a Catholic retreat center. It was just a wonderful time. I felt the Lord. I used to, when I was, think back, I used to have this mental picture of a candle being lit in my heart. And that's the way that I sort of realized that the Lord was working in my life. Well, I think of that retreat as sort of a milestone in my life. And then after that, it's just sort of like whatever happens, the Lord leads me. We lived in Africa for 3 years, so we lived in France for 5 years, and we lived in Yugoslavia for 3 years. And so we spent 13 years out of the U.S. And I think each time we continued to worship the Lord in our own way. Our first baby died, and so that was certainly a difficult situation. But he also was very faithful to us there. We never felt alone, and he brought people around us to help us. And that's a whole other story, because she was born in France, in Paris. And anyway, there were people who, in the community, when they found out that we were experiencing what we experienced, they came around us, and they were the French speakers, because Debbie didn't speak much French at all. And they just supported us and loved us. Choir, of course, and teaching Sunday school. I've taught Sunday school virtually ever since I've been here. And that was good for me too. That was a growing experience for me, because every Sunday I had to be prepared to talk about Leviticus and Numbers and all these other books that I really had not spent a lot of time in. And that's how we got involved in Sunday school. Well, I think when we joined the church, we took a vow. And one of those vows was that we give our time and our resources to the church. And that all just seemed natural to me, that because of what God had done for me, why shouldn't I be giving him back a portion of what he'd given us? And it just was natural for me. I just always set 10% aside, and that's what we lived on. I wouldn't say that it wasn't easy all the time, because I had college debts to pay, and other responsibilities to pay by pledging and giving at least 10%, and when we could, we gave more than that. So I think the Lord is just, and the more I think about it, the Lord always opened up an opportunity to give. If there was a need, it's a funny, I can always find the money to help, because the Lord's generous to us. He blesses us. You're blessed to be a blessing, and I think that's true in our Christian walk. We have to be open to be every opportunity to give back to the church or to whatever organization. That really, it makes you feel like you're part of a congregation. I think that's really a gift. We give to the church, but we really give not to the church as such, but to the people in the church and the needs of the congregation or others that are coming through. And I think that's really what happens. If you just sit in your pew every Sunday and you don't contribute, you don't do anything other than sit in your pew, how do you feel a part of the congregation? You can't, because you're not involved. You're really not involved. And so I think giving to the church is a way to not only give back to God, but it's a way for you to feel like you're part of a bigger congregation. And I think that's important in our lives. It's important to emphasize too that it's not only our money, but yet they can be part of a prayer ministry. I did that too for a year. They could be working on Room in the Inn, all these other ministries that we support. That doesn't take money, it takes time and energy. And that's important.